I work with the daily time frame too. So I told myself I have to try to match up with Sai. So can somebody off his someone's mic is on. All right, so
Just go on
yeah,
whenever a noise comes up. I'll mute
yeah.
everyone.
I just use the 4 hour time frame to just mark up my charts, then wait for the correction, and I just wait for ICC to play out on the higher time frame before I take my trade. I don't rush trades anymore, even if it's pushing up or going down too much. I just wait for ICC to play out on the higher time frame before I take my trade. So yeah, so that's much of it. So that's how I've scaled up from $200, $500, 1K. I started risking the 1%, because from I started risking the 1%. So just 1% is enough to it's enough to take you far, depending on your capital. You can start with 0.1,
So the
you
question
start
I
with
have, the question I
yeah.
have, I think they'll probably be wondering is that, like, let's say for instance, where you are scaling up on the scale up, and
Okay.
let's say where you had, what did you start with? Is it like $1,000 or $500?
Okay. Now I started with $500. But
Okay,
I've scaled that $500 for $500 to about $2,000, and I still lost everything.
okay,
So it's not how much you started with. You get
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just the more you get into the trade, the more losses, the more wins. Then you understand how to scale up. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I can if let's say I'm trading with $500 and I try to scale up to like 2K. If I want to take a trade again, I just risk 1%. I don't trade that. I don't trade that account the way I trade it when I have just $500 in it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I once I see it's up a bit, I just risk more. I either risk
So
zero point 0.1.
the more money you make, the more your risk goes up, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So let's say for instance, where in terms of trading at ICC, because a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
have these questions, and I'll allow people to ask you questions, but I'll just ask you a few, and then allow people to ask you. So many people
Okay.
always wonder. They come to the group and they say, "Do you trade the indication? Is it like when I call, let's say, for instance, when I call a trade and it's an
Okay.
indication, they tell you that is an indication. Don't trade indication. Don't do that." So I'm
Yeah.
asking you, do you, like, in terms of how you approach it, is there
Yeah.
sometimes where you trade the indication, or you strictly wait for those that indication correction and then before you get in?
Oh, I don't trade indication. I don't trade
Okay.
indication at all. I
Okay.
I strictly I strictly wait. The days for all my losses, I've noticed something. For all my losses and everything that's happened, you see that I trade the indication or I trade the correction, and I didn't wait for that continuation to show me to confirm. And I noticed that that's why I get my losses. So I don't trade indication and I don't trade the correction. I have to wait for that indication to be over on the higher time frame. Wait for the correction to also be over on the higher time frame. If you take a look at Bitcoin now, and look on the 4 hour time frame, Bitcoin made an indication and it's currently making a correction right now. So I'm waiting for that correction to play out on the 4 hour time frame. If I look at the 4 hour time frame, we still have about 48 minutes for the 4 hour candle to close. So I'm waiting to confirm that correction fully on 4 hour time frame. If it's still making signs of indication, I'm not going to trade it until I see the correction. Then once I see the correction, the next thing I'll be waiting for, still on the 4 hour time frame, is the continuation. Once I see that continuation on the 4 hour time frame, then I go to my 1 hour time frame or 30 minutes time frame to find my entry. Do you
Okay.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I take my trades, and that's how I place my entry. I don't trade the indication. I don't trade the correction. I
Do you have
just
like
trade
a
just the continuation.
do you have like a trade plan? Maybe you trade only New York, London, Asian, and like what pairs are you mostly focused on?
Mm, okay. So I've most when I started with gold, Bitcoin, Nasdaq, gold, Bitcoin, Nasdaq, German 30. But these days now, I'm just focused on gold and Bitcoin only. and
Okay.
just gold and Bitcoin. And I trade gold sometimes London session. But I notice London session doesn't really move that much. The best time to trade gold is New York session.
Okay.
London session, sometimes I don't rush it to London sessions. I just wait to just see what it wants to do. London session. Then after it does whatever it wants to do, London session, the New York session, that's why I wait for the trade. And that's why I place my trade. So just gold and Bitcoin. That's the only pairs I trade. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, so the first time I talked to you, you mentioned something about you stopping to repeat the same mistakes you were repeating before. So can you like take us
Mhm.
on what are those mistakes you were making before that you stopped repeating?
Yeah, those mistakes are okay. Let's say for number one, taking trades in the 15 minutes entry. Yeah, I
Mhm.
stopped taking trades in the 15 minutes entry because there was one of side videos I was watching and it said 15 minutes the lower time frame will always deceive you. The lower time frame are liars, are deceivers. And
Yeah.
that thing stuck with me. And I was like, okay. Then I stopped trading uh taking my entries on the lower time frame. I started taking it on the 1 hour time frame. And since I started doing that, I've been more profitable. Then the second thing is I don't trade the correction anymore. I wait for the indication to be over. I wait
Mhm.
for the correction to be over and I wait for the continuation to be over. Like this, I'm still learning, you understand? I'm human.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still make my own mistakes because I be like, I think this thing is already over. Then I just take it and I see it's, sometimes market just goes the wrong way. And when I look closely, I see that okay, if I had really waited for this to play out, I wouldn't have, lost. So I still make those mistakes, I still make those mistakes and but I'm trying but they are lesser, they are way, 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 way lesser now than when I started. Now I have more discipline, I have more patience, to wait for the trade to play out. Now I don't look at the trade like, like I have to make money at every push that happens or anything that happens. I have that patience now to wait for it to play out. If it doesn't play out, I don't take a trade. I don't take the trade. So in a week, I might just take about 2 or 3 trades, or just 2 trades, depending.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
in terms of that trade, you say you scale your account for 500 to 2000 and then you lost everything and then you started afresh. So that
yeah.
trade that gave you the biggest loss, what was what was the error there? What was the problem? What did you learn out from that trade?
Uh,
What did you see from that trade?
okay, that was not even the biggest loss, but that trade. What happened in that trade was it was those days where I trade just the correction. Like I don't. It's those times where I don't. I wasn't. I wasn't strict using the higher time frame. Like I
Okay.
wasn't strict using 4 hour time frame. I'm just once I just look at 1 hour and maybe 2 hours, I take the trade. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but since that was what caused that caused that loss when I started. So I just trade the correction. I don't look at 4 hours. But since I started looking at 4 hours and daily, I don't really make those mistakes that much anymore.
I think people
Yeah.
need to also understand that 2 hours and 1 hour shows you the same thing. The reason why you use 1 hour, 4 hours, and 15 minutes time frame is that they are a bit far apart and they can show you different things. So when you use,
Yeah.
let's say you use 8 hours and the daily, you're probably gonna be seeing the same thing basically. So I guess that's one thing that just for me to point out. But on my last
Yeah.
question, on my last
Okay.
question, when after you get the indication, you get the correction on the continuation, do you have, aside from the price being above the level where buyers have control, do you have any other criteria you look out for before you get into the trade?
Hmm. Okay. Before I look out for the trade, before I place my entry, You
Yeah,
mean
like
before I place?
before you place your entry, because you said you don't trade the indications anymore, you don't trade the correction, all you trade now is the continuation. Now I'm asking, okay, price has given the indication, given a correction. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
back above a level where let's say the buyers are in control and you are now looking to get in on the continuation. Do you
Mm-hmm.
just get in or do you look out for something else before you get in?
Okay, so during the continuation, yeah, when price is coming back at the continuation, I wait for it to come back at the indication level. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I go to the lower time before I place the entry, then I go to the lower time frame. I start with 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And so sometimes I just look at 5 minutes, but I don't always look at 5 minutes that much. So I start with 15 minutes and I look at 30 minutes and I see, okay, price is at the continuation level and it is back at the indication level. You understand?
Hmm.
So when I
Yep, definitely.
so when I see that, then I just go to my 1 hour time frame and I place my entry right at that indication level where I have my alert. I place it there, then I put my stop loss at the previous higher low there at the 1 hour time frame. That's it.
Okay.
And I let my trade go.
So okay, one last question from me.
Oh,
So
no
you
problem.
said you said because now I think you mentioned you used the 1 hour. So like what I want to
Yeah.
ask is what time frame do you use to determine the low of your stop loss?
The low of my stop loss.
Because some people use, let's say they see a trade is above a level where the buyers can push or where the sellers can push. Let's say the continuation. So what they do is that they go to the 15 minutes time frame and they see, okay, price making higher highs and higher lows. So they enter the trade there and use that 15 minutes time frame to place their stop loss. So I'm asking you, for you, do you use the 4 hour to place your stop loss or do you use the 1 hour to place your stop loss or what's the thinking
I
behind your stop losses?
I use the 1 hour to place my stop loss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once price comes back to that indication level after the correction, then the continuation. Once price comes back to that level, that's why I place my entry. Then I track my stop loss down to the previous higher low there in the 1 hour. You
Okay.
understand?
Yeah.
The higher low, the previous higher low in the 1 hour time frame, it's where I place my stop loss. I place it there and I just let the trade, work play out. And I notice if you use the 1 hour to trade, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even if price is going against you, you're correct. You're correct. Your analysis is correct. But even if price is going against you or looks like it's going against you, with the 1 hour time frame, you're looking at your chart, you know that okay, you don't need to go off your trade because price is not showing you any sign that it's about to hit your stop loss or it's going to hit your stop loss. But if you're looking at it in the 15 minutes time frame, like when I used to trade in the 15 minutes time frame, 30 minutes time frame, once I notice my analysis might be correct, everything might be correct, but once I notice price start going against me, I get scared and everything because I'm looking at it now in the 15, 30 minutes time frame, and I'm seeing that, and this thing is moving so fast. But on the 1 hour
Mm-hmm.
time frame, I just take my time. I trust the higher time frame. Just like I said, lower time frame are liars, are deceivers. So whatever it's
Yeah.
doing there is just trying to mess up with your mind. So I just focus with the 1 hour time frame. Once I place if it hits the applause or goes against my way, I know it's not my fault and I know it's not anything. Markets just decided to act up or whatever. But my analysis and everything was correct. You understand?
Okay.
So in all my losses, I have always been the one going against my rules. I've always if I because whenever I lose, I go back to see the reason why I lose. Okay, the trade. There was a trade. Now I figured out something again now. Last because in trading, yeah, you learn every day. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You learn every day. So
Never stops.
it never stops. So I took a gold trade uh on Thursday, Friday, on Thursday. So I was in gold sales. So I made a profit of about $6,000, close to $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but now I couldn't close the trade because I needed it to hit my TP. You understand? It's one of the discipline I've been trying to, put myself on because sometimes I don't let trade hit my TP and I just close it. You understand?
Yeah.
So so whether I lost it, whether I don't mind that I lost it, fine. But it's the discipline. You understand? But
Yeah.
I also learned something. So when I made about $5,000 to $6,000, now I didn't do something. Now what didn't I do? I didn't throw my stop loss like
Mm-hmm.
down to because price made another lower high on the 4 hour time frame. You understand?
Yeah.
So I didn't trim my stop loss and adjust my stop loss back to the new lower high. I left it where it was. So when price was retracing and going back up, I lost all the profits I made. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost almost all the profits I made. So that was one thing I figured out. I was like, okay, okay, okay. Whenever I say I'm in profits and price made another lower high in the higher time frame, I'm going to adjust my stop loss. So even if price wants to go against me and break the lower high, I will go out with some profits. You understand? So I learned that. That was a lesson I learned last week, and I will make sure not to repeat it this week again. So that's how I learn, and that's how I trade. So I'm going to make sure this week I don't repeat what I did last week.
Mm.
So I just have enough patience and enough discipline. If not, you
I don't.
just
There was someone texted me on Telegram, someone in the group. That was when
Mhm.
during when we took that gold trade that I called. So
Yeah.
I think she was in trade, she was in profit. So she texted me saying, "What's my target? What I'm targeting that day?" I'm saying this for everyone to hear because I think they need to learn from it too. But she's asking me, "Am I targeting that daily level, which is at I think around 4,000 or so, because that's like the daily level that you can target for a long-term
Mhm.
sales." And she was asking me if I'm targeting that level or if she should just where am I targeting so that she'll know where she should take her money. And I asked her one simple question. The current place price is in right now. If price was to come back to your entry, even if it's just for a while, are you willing to are you okay with that? She said no. And I told her then take your money. Now, a lot of us watch Sai. Um, there's we can easily start. Okay, I won't go that way, but let me just say that yeah, we watch someone else achieve something big, and yeah, we want to achieve that thing as well, but we also want to go about it in a realistic way for ourselves, right? So what I'm trying to say is this: you are in a trade. Let's say you are someone that is just struggling to grow your account. You have a little bit of money here and there, and you are in a trade. And you say you want to be a swing trader, fine. You're in a trade, and the trade is giving you something really good. Maybe you have a $1,000 account. The trade is currently running at $1,400 profit. That's twice your account, right? And you know that if this trade was to come back to your entry, you wouldn't be okay with it, because whenever our trade is going our way, we always start to think if it was to go all the way down, what we can make, how we can achieve so much, what we can buy with, what we can make from that money. That's what we start to think about. But we forget the fact that if that trade was to come back, even if it's close to back out to our entry, the
Mhm.
emotional rollover is going to put us in, will force us to make decisions that we probably don't want to make. Maybe the trade is back to your entry, started to reach around your entry, it starts to put you in an emotional trauma, you close the trade, and out of that anger, start looking for another trade and another pay. And before you know
That's
it,
that's why people set break even.
that's one thing as well. But also the same people that set those break even, price comes to their break even, hits the break even, and then goes to their TP. It's a question that people always struggle with. They try to wonder
Yeah.
how can I deal with this? How can I deal with this? So I'll ask you how you deal with that. But in my own perspective, I always go with it with the fact that hey, everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage. If
Mhm.
swinging a trade all the way down is an advantage, then there's also the advantage there that it can go halfway, because we all saw Sai at some point was up $10 million, I think it was like $20 million in profit, and then that trade came back to break
Mhm.
even. So
Yeah.
as much as you want to make that amount of money, are you willing to have that kind of trauma with it? So there's advantage and there's disadvantage. So once you pick a part, you can't pick the advantage and try to ignore the disadvantage. No, you have to pick both. So when you pick that you want to swing trade, you have to start being okay with the fact that trade can go the way in your favor for half the time and then come back to your entry, and sometimes you may even lose the trade. That is the reality of being a swing trader. And the reality of being a scalper is that you can catch a trade now and make 1-to-1 and take your money, and that trade will keep running for the rest of the week. That's the reality of being a scalper as well. So whenever you pick a decision, because people try to pick both, they try to pick scalping where they get in with the 5 minutes time frame, and then try to pick swinging where they hold the trade for 3 weeks. I'm like, you have to also go with the disadvantage as well, because it has disadvantage as well. So you have to go with it. So I go with, hey, whatever you pick that you want to be, you have to pick the advantage and disadvantage. So how do you deal with that? Just that part, and then I will get people to ask a question.
Okay. I said I was just going to talk for some minutes, but it's okay. Okay, so about that, I started with scalping. I didn't choose to be a swing trader. I just found myself swing trading. Do you understand? Because of the 4 hours time frame. I was normally using the 30 minutes time frame, 1 hour time frame. Once I just make my money and something, I just close. And I tell you, sometimes I just close the trade. And yeah, I just close the trade. So what I do now, how do I do it? I try to open at least 2 to 3 positions, yeah. I try to open at least 2 to 3 positions, and once I see price is going my way, and definitely maybe hits first TP or something, I take partials. You understand? I take partials. I take some profits out. Then I just let maybe one position. I just let maybe one position just ride on. So that's now going to take me into swing trading. You understand? Are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's how I just do it. So I
So you try
open
to
just
be both. Just take two positions or three positions. One position
yeah.
will be for you to scalp and make some money off that trade, and the other one will be for you to just see
Just
what you can make overall.
yes, and just hold on, whether it hits, TP or, but I try to now, like I said, I try to throw my stop loss. Once I see a lower high or a higher low another higher low has been created or lower high, I adjust my stop loss. Then I just let it just go on. Then I take partials. That's how I go through. Take partials, take profits. It's important to always take profits. So that's it. The trade,
100%.
yeah, so that's it. The trade I lost, I didn't open much position, so that was why what happened. So I just took the little partials I made, and yeah, that's it.
Facts. So I'm going to allow people to ask you some questions. So just get. So I'll maybe if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand. If you don't want to talk, you can drop a chat. But if you want to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. You can take a few questions, then we can call it a day. Come on, boys. Drop your question on the chat, raise your hand, or unmute yourself.
Can I make a question?
Of course.
So I wanted to ask, now that he has more capital, how much of the account is he risking? Is he risking, as he said, only 1%, or does he add more positions like 2, 3, 4, 5% as the trade is going his way?
Okay, so like I said, I started just 1%. Then once I see the trade is going my way, then I add 2 or 3 more positions. And sometimes I add and I risk another 1%. Sometimes I risk less. You understand? Because now I'm adding 2 more positions. So I don't try to risk 1% more. So instead, I go less. I can go for maybe 0.2 or 0.5 with my 1%, and that's it.
And then do you leave these extra like 0.2, 0.5 as the running, and the 1% you take profit, and then you leave them?
Yeah. Of course, of course.
Okay,
I close the 1%. Yeah, just whatever lot size I'm using that is the highest, I close it. Then I close it as partials. Then I let the whatever. If I'm adding any more positions, it is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same lot size. So that's just how I scale up.
Yeah.
Then I let it run. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Who's next?
You say you don't use the 15 anymore? Like you just check it. You take it.
no, no. I look at the 15 minutes, but I don't take my entry on 15 minutes.
Just
My
1 hour.
my entry comes at the 1 hour.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
I have a question.
Go on.
Okay.
So imagine you said you maybe take 1%, then if you
Yeah.
go into your favor, you take maybe lower than. So
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said at first you said you take 1%.
Yeah.
If the trade is going to your favor, you take maybe 0.5 or something like that, right?
Or 0.1. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm saying here is, sometimes trade don't work well. Sometimes you might take those two positions, and at the end, the trade that is going to your favor is going back against you. So how
Yeah.
do you handle that loss? Because it might actually come to your stop loss, come to your stop loss. So now you are risking more, and it hits your stop loss. How do you manage that discipline? Hits your stop loss. How do you manage that discipline? That emotional state at that moment.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now, yeah. Now that's why. Okay. Now let's say price is going my way. Now, before I add any more positions, price, I already make sure price is going my way. You understand? So once price is going my way and I add another position, I wait for it to make another let's say higher low or lower high. Then I trail my stop loss. Do you understand? Now, when I trail my stop loss, I'm trailing my stop loss for that 1%. So once price, so that one price tries to goes against me, that 1%, I already have some profits from it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You understand my point, yeah?
Yeah, I
So
understand.
yeah, I don't let it go. I don't let it go against me. But let's just say I didn't do that. Then I added another position after the 1% and price goes against me. And let's say I lost the trade or I lost the money. What I do, I don't okay, when I started, I always revenge trade. I always try to want to make back the money or something. But if I take a loss or something, if I take a huge loss or something like that, I just cool off. The emotional part, the psychological part, that's the major work that is done more in trading. I believe once you're able to take control of that part, the emotional part, the psychological part, once you're able to handle losses or whatever that happens in trading, that's when you can learn from your mistakes, and that's when you can be better at what you're doing. Understand? I've made profits and I've seen that profits go from 0 to 100. I've seen that profits go from 100 to 0. Even take my own money. So all those things, all those pains, all those losses, everything, all those experience, they have helped me. They have just helped me and shaped me. Into being more disciplined and more focused in trading. So that's it.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Someone else?
Any
So
other question?
when scaling up, did you trade it only BTC and gold? Did you used to trade like
When
forex?
when I started scaling up, I was just trading gold, BTC, and German 30.
So you never
I didn't trade Nasdaq that much.
and forex plus currency plus did you trade it?
No, nothing else. Just gold. It's just gold and Bitcoin. It's just gold and Bitcoin, and that's how I used to scale up.
I think
Okay, I'm reading the questions on the chat.
Well, is your person on the chat? Oh, I haven't seen it before. 1 second. Why can't I view my chat?
Someone asked a question
Okay.
on this thing.
Yeah,
Someone
I
said,
see it now.
The person said looking at Bitcoin right now, at the 4 hour, already made the indication and correcting now. Do you wait for the 4 hour to build another higher low or wait on the 1 hour? Now, I don't know if maybe the person just joined now, but like I said, I wait to see the higher low on the 4 hour. If you look at the 4 hour now, if you look at Bitcoin now, if you look at the chart on the 4 hour, it's still making what do you say? I'll say it's making an indication. I won't say it's making a correction. If you go to the 1 hour time frame, it's making a correction. It looks like it's making a correction, but that's still an indication. You go to the 2 hour time frame, it looks like it's made a correction. In fact, if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, it looks like the correction is over. I don't know if anybody's seeing what I'm saying. If you're looking at the 15 minutes time frame in Bitcoin, it even looks like the correction is over.
Yes, I'm
Let me,
seeing.
let me share my screen so they can look.
Yes.
Try to see.
Okay.
1 second. Share desktop.
Yeah.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah. So
Okay,
if you look at the 5 minutes time frame, if you look at the 15 minutes time frame, it looks like the correction is over. If you look at the 30 minutes time frame, it looks like the correction is over. And people, I noticed in the group, people might say, okay, Bitcoin is buying now and decide to take a buy or buy Bitcoin. No, like I said, this is how I used to trade before, and I've lost a lot of money. I've traded on the 15 minutes, traded on the 30 minutes. I've lost a lot of money. I've used the 1 hour too. In the 1 hour, you can look at it and say, okay, the correction is over. It's time to buy. No, I don't think it's time to buy. I still think price is making a correction. I still think price is making an indication, even on the 2 hour. So when you look at the 4 hour, what do you see at the 4 hour? You just see it's just an indication. There's no sign of higher low. Are you seeing? There's no sign of higher low. It's just an indication. Yes, there's a bearish red candle there, but that's not a sign of a higher low. It's sign of an indication. So you have to confirm that this higher low has been created. For me now, let me tell you what I'm seeing now, what I expect to see. I expect to see another red candle on the 4 hour time frame.
Do you want to use your screen for them?
No, don't want to do that, but yeah. But I expect to see another higher low. I expect to see another red candle on the 4 hour time frame. So I expect to see like more price. Price thing needs to come down a bit. The thing needs to come down a bit. So it's going to come down a bit. So I'm going to wait to see it come down a bit more. If it wants to go up, let it go up. It can. You know how price is. Price can just decide to shoot up and just shoot up more. And once it shoots up more, it will just drastically come down. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that drop to happen. Once that drop happens, then I confirm higher low has been created in the 4 hour time frame. If you look at the 1 hour time frame, you see what you're seeing on the 1 hour time frame. I want to see that pattern. I want to see that pattern in the 4 hour time frame.
I think it's not the indication.
What?
The indication, I think that's not where he's marking.
What? You mean?
The indication.
I wasn't marking what he was talking about. But
No, he wasn't marking what I was talking about.
All right.
Yeah. But if you look at your own chart, if you look at the 4 hour time frame, price is just if you look at the 1 hour time frame, the pattern you're seeing there, that pattern you see there, that looks like price has made a correction and is making a continuation. I want to see that pattern on the 4 hour time frame. If I don't see that pattern on the 4 hour time frame, I'm not going to take my Bitcoin buys.
So the indication around 77,700, right?
Indication around
7,700. The breakout today.
No, now the indication now is at 78,000, I think.
This level.
4 hour time frame. For up to go down a bit, let's say to 77,000 or so 77,000 something. Once it goes down a bit, then during the continuation, still on the 4-hour time frame. I just need to see that this pattern that is happening on the 1-hour time frame. I just need to see it repeat on the 4-hour time frame. Once I see it repeat on the 4-hour time frame and price is back at the indication level, I take my buy entry. And let price definitely Bitcoin is definitely heading to.
I think for me though, I feel like there's no reason to, because if you look at this, even if I know this level indication level, but I think this whole thing, you just want to see price break out of it, because any break out of it to the upside or the downside, it's probably price will probably go to the next level. In my own way of, I think it's kind of just ranging here. So anything inside this zone, you don't want to get involved. If it breaks above, then it go. If it breaks below, then it's likely going to come for these levels here.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. So price might, if you might think price is making a correction or everything, it might just be making a long ass indication and everything. So once the indication is over, we're good to go.
We haven't seen any signs that the bars are ready to push. The sales are still very active. The lower highs are still very active. So if it breaks under these levels, of course, it's probably trying to go for these lows, because price moves in levels. It breaks one zone, it's going for the next one. Also, as much as you're calling here at the indication level, here is also an indication level. Right? Here is also an indication level. So price may want to correct itself all the way down here and then start buying. So
it's exactly
this whole thing here, this whole range here, I feel like I want to stay away from it.
Yeah, so that's it. Any other question? I think we're done good for today.
Let's one more question from anyone.
One question. Let's call it a day.
Anyone throwing one more question, or we call it a day?
Someone asks a question. Should one trade at the beginning of
the change of market structure?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, MP.
I don't understand the question.
Okay.
I think we should. I don't know. Next some other time we can do something on more chats or something.
Oboro, your background is very noisy. Or just ask your question and
just because I'm coming back from church, that's why I'm in the balls. That's why.
Usually gets in a week. Many setups. The setups.
I wanted to ask a question about the entry. About the entry. About the entry.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay.
Oboro, go on.
I think
I wanted to ask about your entry. How do you take trade? And what you see when you take trade, and what are your confirmation? Your thoughts?
Okay. I don't know. I already spoke about this. But I just wait for ICC to play out. I look at the higher time frame, 4-hour time frame to be precise. Then I wait for indication to play out, the correction to play out, and the continuation. And that's why I take my entry.
Oh, thank you. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Sure. All right, I think that's all for today, man. Thank you all for today.
All right, MLP. Thank you, my bro.
Sure, man. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Sure.
So, in a nutshell, everyone, I hope this call was able to answer some of your questions. In a nutshell, and I want to get involved in the continuation. Also, he mentioned to you guys that he focuses on the 4 hours to give him that direction of what he's looking for, and then the 1 hour for his entry. Sometimes 30 minutes, but mostly 1 hour. For his stop losses, he uses the 1 hour to place the stop loss, because he feels like the 1 hour, and I also believe that the 1 hour is a very strong time frame. So whatever the 1 hour says, usually is true. It's a very strong time frame and gives you that balance of higher time frame and lower time frame. So he uses the 1 hour for his entries. And then for the pairs he trades, mentioned he trades gold, BTC, and German 30, but I think that one is rare for him. So he mostly trades gold and BTC most times for the two of them. And in a nutshell. And he said for scaling up account, he risks 1%. He adds positions as trade go in his favor, but he also tries to maintain that 1% risk without having to over risk on the whole trade, right? So because you're adding position doesn't mean you put too much risk on the trade because it's going your way. So he tries to add positions in a way that he's still, and then throws the stop loss in a way that he still risk within that 1% or maybe 2% sometimes. And for the session he trades, he didn't talk about session, but I think he does mostly New York. But he didn't talk about session. He just said he just waits for the trade to get ready and he gets in. I didn't hear anything about session. And then I think that's it. I hope this call answers some of you guys' questions. And this is the best I can do. Any more questions?
Is this being recorded?
Yes, I'll put it on YouTube.
All right, thank you.
Hello, I have a question.
Go on.
I have attended this meeting like a while ago, so I haven't heard the full thing. So I got a doubt that does he trade stop loss or is it a TP or SL for him?
Does he trust? Yeah, he trust. So he said that now he's more looking into when trade is moving. He opens like 3 positions in a single trade, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. He opens it up, and then one position is going to be for you to just take profit out, maybe scalp a move maybe at 1 to 1, 1 to 2. He takes some money off the market and then lets the rest run to his overall take profit targets. Of course, he'll use a stop loss in all those trades. He doesn't enter a trade without stop loss. He has stop loss, but he then he trails that stop loss as the trade is going in his favor, right? That's what I understood.
All right, I got you. Thank you, buddy.
So the other videos will be on YouTube. You can just go there and watch